Did you know that the woman who played one of the most defining roles in the life of the world's most famous woman recently revealed something that will shock everyone? We're talking about Lady Sarah McCorquodale, the eldest sister of Princess Diana, who irrevocably altered Diana's destiny. Her full name wasn't just Sarah. Born Elizabeth Sarah Lavinia Spencer on March 19, 1955, she was Diana's closest ally, the greatest support Diana ever had. But paradoxically, she was also part of the reason why Diana's life was so tumultuous. At the age of 60, Lady Sarah confirmed all the rumors surrounding her younger sister. What were these rumors? What was her own story? And how did she impact Diana's fate? Let's uncover it all in this video. Lady Sarah led a life full of notable events and earned the title the Honorable after her father became the 8th Earl Spencer in 1975, thus granting her the title Lady. Unlike popular belief, Lady Sarah didn't have a picture-perfect life where everything was handed to her. She had to face her own personal demons, and one of the most destructive was her struggle with severe eating disorders in her early adulthood, which deeply impacted her social life in a terrifying way. We'll share everything. But first, let's go back to the beginning. After completing her studies at Riddlesworth Hall and West Heath boarding school, she decided to move to London to pursue a career. Her life was much simpler than one might imagine for someone of noble birth, but her close bond with Diana made her highly popular. In fact, those who wanted to harm Diana often tried to discredit Sarah. However, despite the pressure, Sarah never gave up and remained a loyal support for Diana, even when it meant standing up to the royal family. At the height of Diana's marital crisis, Sarah became an unshakable pillar, urging Diana to keep fighting and not to give up. In a way, she was Diana's knight, and thanks to her, the princess found the courage to confront Prince Charles. Lady Sarah's influence on Diana was essential, providing the moral support Diana needed to fulfill her royal duties and staying by her side in her darkest times. Her loyalty to Diana never wavered, even when rumors about Diana reached unimaginable proportions, and she remained true to herself after her sister's tragic death. Today, Sarah is the guardian of Diana's legacy and continues to protect everything her sister fought for. With such an influential journey, Sarah's life hides many fascinating stories. For example, did you know this trusted ally was indirectly a reason for Diana's death? Get ready to learn about Lady Sarah's life and her close connection to Diana's story. It's well known that Neil McCorquodale is Lady Sarah's husband and the love of her life. But did you know that before that, Sarah nearly became Queen of England? Indeed, at 60 years old, she revealed that before Diana, she herself had a relationship with Prince Charles. However, their romance didn't last, and she ended it so decisively that it made headlines for months. After their breakup, she publicly stated that she wouldn't marry Charles, whether he was a garbage man or the King of England. Despite this separation, she remained within Prince Charles's inner circle and even, indirectly, played a key role in introducing Diana to him, an event that would forever change their lives and that of the royal family. Before diving into one of England's greatest mysteries since Jack the Ripper, it's essential to understand the people's princess herself to grasp this story fully. Princess Diana was born Diana Frances Spencer on July 1, 1961, the fourth of 5 children in the Spencer family. In this video, we'll explore the unique bond between Lady Sarah and Diana and how that connection shaped the history of the British monarchy. Diana's upbringing took place at the prestigious Park House in Sandringham, Norfolk. This was also the place where fate began shaping her life into a fairy tale, bringing her close to the royal family from a young age. Diana's grandmother served as a lady-in-waiting to the Queen Mother, and Diana grew up playing with Prince Andrew and Prince Edward during the royal family's visits to Sandringham. Although she grew up in a prominent setting, her childhood wasn't without hardship. Her parents had a very turbulent relationship, worsened by the pressure on her mother to produce a male heir. This expectation took a heavy toll, and after enduring constant criticism, her parents eventually divorced when Diana was only 7. She then lived with her father, who later became Earl Spencer, but her relationship with her stepmother, Reine, Countess of Dartmouth, was very strained. In this grand house, their relationship felt like that of Cinderella and her wicked stepmother, but they still had to coexist. So, when did Diana's life start going off track? It all began because of her sister, who introduced her to Prince Charles in 1977. Though she was only 16 at the time, Diana was instantly captivated by Charles, who was 12 years older. They began dating, and things quickly took a dramatic turn. The biggest event of that era happened in 1981, when Diana and Charles married, suddenly thrusting an ordinary aristocrat into the global spotlight. Was it a blessing, or the beginning of a tragedy? Would you like to know a fun detail? When Charles broke up with Diana's older sister, he found Diana's sweetness and charm refreshing and thought this young girl would never try to harm him. Diana, on her side, saw him as the prince of her dreams, the knight in shining armor who would always protect her. A beautiful irony, isn't it? If they could turn back time, they would likely warn their young, naive selves. But perhaps this was simply destiny's plan. During their first, brief encounter, Diana found Charles a bit melancholy, but nonetheless, a spark ignited. By a stroke of luck, Charles was recovering from his breakup with Sarah and the loss of his mentor, Lord Mountbatten. Showing him sympathy, Diana drew Charles in, and their relationship began to blossom slowly at a barbecue. That's where the unimaginable happened. Charles suddenly kissed her, marking the royal beginning of the world's most publicized relationship. They spent little time together due to Charles's busy schedule, yet their relationship advanced quickly. After only 13 meetings, Charles proposed to Diana, and after some thought, she accepted. She was thrilled at the prospect of becoming a member of the royal family. If only she had known what awaited her. Their engagement was announced to the world in 1981, and the public fell in love with this graceful young woman, ready to marry a future king. Everyone believed their relationship would be perfect, but cracks soon appeared. In one of their first interviews, when asked about their feelings, Diana confidently stated they were in love, while Charles gave an unconvincing whatever love means, leaving Diana puzzled and foreshadowing the challenges to come. The royal wedding between Prince Charles and Lady Diana took place on July 29, 1981, at St. Paul's Cathedral, and it was undoubtedly the grandest event ever, watched by 750 million viewers worldwide. Diana's wedding dress, designed by David and Elizabeth Emanuel, became iconic with its incredible 25-foot train and finely crafted lace, capturing the imagination of millions. The world was captivated by this fairy tale of a prince and a princess, so much so that they couldn't imagine anything going wrong. However, rumors soon began circulating about Lady Sarah's feelings regarding her sister's marriage to her ex-boyfriend. Though Sarah publicly supported Diana and claimed she had played matchmaker, whispers of jealousy and resentment emerged. To protect her sister's life, Sarah had to make a heart-wrenching decision. She could have been as popular as Diana but chose to step back so Diana could live in peace. Once Diana settled into her role as princess, she showed the world just how positively a royal could impact lives. Diana became known as a philanthropist and humanitarian, dedicated to causes like HIV/AIDS, leprosy, and landmine eradication. Her efforts in these areas won the public's admiration, but also made her a figure some powerful people feared. She launched an awareness campaign because, in the 1980s, AIDS was heavily stigmatized, and people affected were often shunned by society and judged as immoral. Diana challenged the fear and misconceptions surrounding AIDS by physically touching patients in 1987, a simple act that made headlines worldwide. This powerful yet simple gesture helped to destigmatize the disease and brought attention to the need for love and support for those affected. She later became the patron of the National AIDS Trust and regularly visited the London Lighthouse, a center for people living with HIV/AIDS. Her popularity and impactful efforts earned her the honor of meeting Nelson Mandela in 1997, where they discussed support for children and families affected by HIV/AIDS. Another reason Diana is still beloved today is her role as a patron of the British Red Cross and her crucial work on landmine awareness with the Halo Trust. In 1997, she even visited a minefield in Angola, walking through the dangerous zone in protective gear. Her efforts brought global attention to the devastating effects of landmines and influenced the signing of the Ottawa Treaty, banning the use of anti-personnel mines. Diana also worked against the stigma surrounding leprosy. She became a patron of the leprosy mission in 1989 and visited hospitals worldwide to support patients. People were often afraid to touch those affected, but Diana comforted them with physical contact. By performing this simple gesture, she united people worldwide to destigmatize this disease. Every time Diana felt weak, It was Lady Sarah who pushed her forward, reminding her she had the power to change the world. She persevered and set herself a goal: to eradicate cancer. She contributed to research, lending her name and image to support charities globally, including Children with Cancer UK. She was also instrumental as president of the Royal Marsden NHS Foundation Trust, showing her dedication to children. Someone so committed to life and humanitarian causes deserved to live a fulfilled life. With all the kindness she brought to the world, it should have repaid her, right? This may have been true for most, but Prince Charles decided to surprise her. Rumors of an affair between him and Camilla Parker Bowles started circulating, and despite all their efforts to keep it private, it became an open secret among friends before being revealed to the public. Heartbroken, Diana didn't know what to do and cried on her sister's shoulder. Sarah helped Diana get back on her feet and prepared her for the biggest battle of her life. What did that involve? How did she handle it? Let's discover that together, because this is the moment when you'll learn what happened. It all began to unravel in 1993, when a 1989 phone call between Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles was leaked, exposing their intimate relationship. This marked the beginning of the scandal that would become known as Camillagate or Tampongate. The phone call became infamous, as our respectable prince expressed a certain interest in clothing, particularly trousers. This exchange included Charles's now infamous comment that he wished to live in Camilla's trousers, which was deemed unworthy of a royal and severely damaged his reputation. Under pressure, Charles admitted in a televised interview with Jonathan Dimbleby in 1994 that he had been unfaithful to Princess Diana when their marriage had irretrievably broken down. Although he didn't mention Camilla by name, his insinuations directed suspicions toward her. This confession further tarnished his image, especially after Princess Diana's iconic statement during her BBC interview in 1995. There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. This powerful declaration showed she was no longer playing along. She was no longer Princess Diana because she was married to Charles. She was the princess because the public had given her that title. Meanwhile, the public demanded accountability from the royal family, but Diana remained the only one adored and admired for her grace, compassion, and philanthropic work. She fought for her dignity. Ultimately, the Queen intervened, and Diana officially separated from Charles in 1992 before their divorce in 1996. She lost only her Royal Highness title but gained peace of mind. A fair trade, in our opinion. Diana then focused on raising her 2 sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, and agreed to co-parent the children with Charles. Just as she thought she had freed herself from the grip of royalty and was ready to enjoy life, tragedy struck, plunging the world into mourning. She wanted to savor her newfound freedom and accepted an invitation to vacation on a yacht from a friend. There, she met her friend's son, Dodi Fayed, and a romance blossomed between them. But before their relationship could truly take shape, disaster struck. It all happened on August 31, 1997, when an accident occurred in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. Their car, driven by Henri Paul, lost control as they were chased by paparazzi. The car struck a pillar in the tunnel. Diana was gravely injured, while Dodi Fayed and the driver died instantly, impaled by scattered debris. Despite her suffering, Diana eventually succumbed to her fatal injuries the following morning at 6 a.m. Her sudden death shocked the world. Prince Charles, accompanied by Diana's sisters, Lady Sarah McCorquodale and Jane Fellows, traveled to Paris to bring her body back to England. At her funeral, Sarah gave a moving farewell speech, leaving the entire audience in tears. And thus, her story ended. Many remain outraged that the true mysteries surrounding her death are still unresolved. For instance, one of Dodi's bodyguards, who was in the car with them, is still alive but claims to suffer from amnesia and remembers nothing. Additionally, it was discovered that the driver was intoxicated. All these conspiracy theories remain unanswered, leaving the public with lingering questions about what truly happened that night.